Hello Super Sentai fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today is my review slash demo of the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular from Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger. So this is the fourth entry in the line of Memorial Edition items that's been released to go alongside with Gokaiger's 10th anniversary last year, first being the Mobirates, then the 35 Red Ranger Key set, then the After Gokai Ranger Key set, and now this is our second changer in the line, being of course Ikari Gai Gokai Silver's GokaiCellular. So the GokaiCellular, being a 6 Ranger morpher from 10 plus years ago, was very lacking in its functionality, especially with the Ranger Keys and just kind of what it could do compared to the Mobirates. I mean, it pretty much did everything you would want it to do from the show, but of course here with this Memorial Edition, they have really upgraded this toy in like every capacity. This thing is really impressive. I love how this turned out quite a bit. It's obviously still somewhat lacking in Ranger Key functionality and everything like that just because of what it always was, but that doesn't really change how cool that they've upgraded this thing. So this is an empty box actually. If you want to check out the full proper unboxing of the GokaiCellular, I did a Project Unlock unboxing of it the other day on the channel, but as you can see on the box here, you have this beautiful shot of Gokai Silver holding the GokaiCellular, which I do believe is the Dragon Ranger Key inside of it. You have the new Bandai Namco logo. It matches pretty well with the other Memorial Edition Gokaiger stuff that we have so far. On the side here, you can see the 6 included Ranger Keys, including Operate Killer, Time Fire, the Gokai Anchor Key or the Gold Anchor Key, Gokai Silver, Dragon Ranger, and the brand new Ranger Key to this set that has never been released before, Twokasier. So very cool for that one. And of course you just have the GokaiCellular on the side, and on the back you have the GokaiCellular with the stand that it includes. It shows that it has the voice phrase mode and the background music mode, just like the Mobirates, and it shows the 6 Memorial Edition Ranger Keys that we have there, and a bunch of legal copyright jumbo stuff. And then on the bottom you have just that safety stuff and a picture of the Mobirates or the GokaiCellular again. It's going to get a little confusing sometimes. And we have the GokaiCellular Memorial Edition right there. So let's go ahead and bring in everything that this has and take a look at what this has to offer. Okay, so here is everything out of the box. Obviously we have the GokaiCellular itself, the stand that it includes, and the 6 Ranger Keys that are also included, kind of separated by sort of the older ones, and I guess kind of the newer ones. I put the Gold Anchor Key over here just because, why not? But these keys are absolutely gorgeous. This toy is absolutely gorgeous. But first, let's go ahead and build the little stand. So if you're curious, this is the exact same piece. That was pretty loud. But that is pretty much the exact same piece as the bottom of the stand that the Mobirates had. It just has a different kind of adapter here for the GokaiCellular. So all you have to do is just put that in there, and you have a nice little stand for it, which it doesn't really click in or anything like that. It just kind of rests there. But you can have it be nice on display. There's going to be a lot of glare on this from the lights, but there you go. Kind of fitting it all into frame there. There is the GokaiCellular ready to go. Now what's really cool is that this January we are going to be getting a special Suiker unit adapter for this, which is something that was featured in the Twokasier Gokaiger Versus special in TTFC. Now that is going to add a bunch of more buttons to the bottom of this thing, and I'm going to show you kind of sort of how that's going to work when January rolls around. And then also included with that is going to be an additional or like a different stand piece for this that will be kind of raising it up so you can actually have the full like elongated keypad on there, which is a really nice touch that I'm happy that they've included. Now before I get started on any of the key testing out things and all the modes in here, there's a lot of stuff to go over. I want to make sure that I compare the original version of the toy, so this is the 2011 version, to the new 2022 Memorial Edition. So from first glance, obviously they're going to look pretty similar. I mean, they are both a GokaiCellular after all. It's a little kind of hard to fit them both in frame here, looking at a good angle, but we'll do our best to compare them all. But basically, on the original version of the toy, on the back there was a very obvious like battery cover. There was an on and off switch. This toy is notoriously very quiet, as you can hear there. But the new version has a much more improved speaker. They've hidden the battery compartment and all that kind of stuff. As you can see here, the original toy had this like sticker on the side, which has been completely replaced by the new background button or background music and voice phrase button, but it's pretty much in that exact same spot, like down to like the little rectangle. So as you can see, they kind of just replaced it with that, which I think works perfectly well. They have kind of sort of redone the whole door mechanism here. As you can see on the original one, there's like this little button that it kind of lashes in there, and then you click the red button and it opens it up. But they've kind of redesigned it a little bit to where you still have this red button, but now we have like this little gray tab, and inside like there's like this little button that I guess sort of pushes up, kind of. I don't really know what that's supposed to do, but I can kind of always notice that the door on this one doesn't seem to always be 100% closed. It's probably like next to impossible to see, but there's like a little gap that kind of likes to form in there. While this one was a lot more flush to the original toy, and so I kind of maybe prefer the original door. You can still, like, you're able to flip the door open pretty easily, and you can do the same on the Memorial one very nicely. But I don't know, that's just something kind of minor that I kind of noticed kind of playing around with it. That maybe the door feels probably better quality on here, but I kind of maybe like the lashing system on the original a little bit differently. Now this is something we'll kind of get into when we're testing the keys, and this is not really going to come into any kind of real effect until the squeaker unit releases. But obviously on the bottom of the original one, where the gold anchor key slot is, it's just like basically a Ranger Key shaped hole that you just put a Ranger Key in, and it clicks a button in there somewhere to make it say Gokai Silver Gold Mode. And that was all there was to it. You could put any Ranger Key in there whatsoever, and it would do that sound. Not quite this time around. So obviously the slot is still there, but it's a little bit different now, and I don't really know exactly how to explain how it's a little bit different. But basically the gold anchor key is the only key that is able to unlock the gold anchor key sound from this, technically, and we'll play around with that and show you what I mean by that. Any other key that you put in here, it will error out and not play that sound. Now we know that the squeaker unit is going to be an adapter that's basically has a little key at it that will clip into here and add more faces to the bottom of this toy. And how that's going to work, and how, you know, the reason why you can't unlock those sounds yet is because it's going to use Dawn Brothers technology, and it's going to use, right there you can see, an infrared scanner. It's nothing too crazy, it's just they've added infrared into this toy. So basically what's going to happen is when you have the squeaker unit and you clip it in there, what's going to happen is when you click the button or you click the face on the squeaker unit, it's going to send a signal to there, and then it's going to make this do Go Busters through Zenkaiger. So that's how we're going to be able to do it, which I think is really, really cool. I think that's an awesome way to upgrade this phone in so many different ways. To not only continue the button tradition to still have more buttons, but to actually make it have sounds post Gokaiger. I think that's a very creative way to have done it. But there's really, I don't know exactly how you could possibly do it until the squeaker unit releases in January, and I don't want to do any kind of weird methods that could damage the toy. So we'll just have to wait a couple of months until we can unlock the Go Busters through Twokasier sounds in here. But at least they are. It's so weird because they're totally in here, we just can't necessarily get to them yet. And then on the back here, the back obviously is where the big changes you're seeing. The speaker's still in the same spot, but they've redesigned the battery compartment completely. So the on and off switch no longer exists here, but it's underneath this door. And then of course this entire door has been cleaned up a little bit. It's one of those push pin buttons. And then as you can see, the whole sliding mechanism is very similar, although now it's painted in a metallic silver, which is very nice. And then at the top, you can see the little key removal button is significantly bigger than it was before. And you see this one right here, it's kind of stuck down there. At least on mine, that key removal button always like to get stuck, but this one has a very nice spring little click thing that I don't think will ever really get stuck unless I, play with this constantly. And then the button, the activation button at the top, is completely red now and completely out of focus. So it's completely red. It's not just painted red or anything like this one was, where it was just kind of like a little bit of red paint on a gray button. And then that's basically it. Looking at the tops again here, that's probably a better angle to have done it. They closed off the battery, or the little screw holes that were on the top of the door hinge there. And yeah, and then of course looking at the inside, that's another comparison point to look at. The insides are virtually identical. You have that nice blue background, but it just looks a lot cleaner in the Memorial Edition one. The clips are essentially the exact same to hold the keys in. The sides there looks pretty similar, but they have a little bit of a different kind of spring mechanism or gearbox mechanism to make the whole thing, if I can reach the button, do that. The toy was still on. I should have turned it off before. That's a spoiler. But yeah, basically that's how the whole new gear mechanism works a little bit. And on the other side, you can kind of see a little bit of the soundboard or motherboard kind of thing on the Memorial one, because that's they've added 2 new buttons on the side that didn't exist before. So obviously that's not in there on the original toy. But yeah, pretty similar. And then this one never really stayed down. Maybe it was supposed to, but it never did. But this one does actually kind of spring up and down now. So I think that's kind of the majority of all of the comparisons between the old GokaiCellular and the new GokaiCellular. If you're curious about the buttons, they look exactly the same, but basically it does feel a lot nicer. Like these ones, the toy's off right now, but they had a nice click to them, but these which the toy's on, so it's going to start making noises. Like, these ones have a nice, you know, like, I can really feel the click on them. It's also because this is brand new, and I got this secondhand years after it came out, so I'm sure that's some kind of factor to it. But these buttons just feel higher quality than the original ones did, but they are still very similar, you know, design-wise and functionality-wise. But yeah. So that's pretty much the nice little comparison between both versions of the GokaiCellular. The next step is obviously to turn the toy on, which I already had on by accident. I completely forgot that I had it on. But basically, in this toy, it already comes included with batteries. But interestingly enough, there's one of those pull tabs there, which obviously has been removed at this point. But this takes the exact same amount of batteries that the original toy took, and I am very bad at opening these kind of battery compartments. But they took the exact same kind of batteries, which is 3 LR44s. But like I said, that they are included, which is really, really nice that they're included. And also, because of how many other phrases and lights and stuff, or I guess just a light, but like how many phrases and the speaker quality that they've improved in this thing, I don't know how this is still only powered by 3 LR44s, but I'll take it. So obviously you can hear significantly louder than the older one. So here is the older one's turning on sound. So same sound, but very, very much louder, which I can very much appreciate. So let's go ahead and close that up. Maybe. So there we go. And we'll go ahead and put that onto the little stand there, because now I want to compare the Ranger keys. So we'll go ahead and start with Gokai Silver. So here is the original Gokai Silver Ranger Key that came out in 2011, and the Memorial Edition. And yeah, it's no competition. Like, look at this Memorial Edition key compared to the original one. That is absolutely gorgeous. So as you can see, they have actually finally painted it metallic silver, which just really, really pops. I absolutely love that. Same key cut as the original one, because it will work the same in all the different versions of the Mobirates as the original one did, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean, just like that detail just really, really pops with that metallic silver. You know, the helmet and stuff there too, I think the sculpting looks a little nicer and everything. The nice white lines are painted very nicely. The Gokaiger symbol is significantly bigger on the Memorial Edition than it was on the Deluxe one. And then obviously on the original Deluxe Ranger Key, they had that kind of gray sticker. And of course, being a Memorial Edition one, these ones can auto flip with the button on the side right there. So there is that. And they definitely made the sticker a little bit of a lighter, almost a white kind of color, which I do believe if you look at like official like scan books and stuff of Ranger keys, that's pretty accurate. I don't think that the Silver Ranger keys necessarily had metallic stickers. At least I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing. I should be the one to know, I would imagine, but there is that. So you can see the difference between the two Gokai Silvers, which is obviously the key that got upgraded the absolute most from the original release. So we'll go ahead and put him back there, and we would test all of these out in the Mobirates probably towards the end of the video. So here is Dragon Ranger, and let me grab the older Dragon Ranger. So the original Dragon Ranger Key released with the Gokai Spear, and it's a little bit different here. As you can see, the green I think is a little bit darker on the new Memorial one. The shield is more of a candy toy style G-Ranger shield for him compared to the original Deluxe one. As you can see, the diamond extends down a little bit further than it did on the original one, but for the most part it's very similar. The helmet is a little bit different in sculpting with the visor. I'd argue it's probably a little bit more accurate now, but it will feel like there's just a lot of green space on the helmet that shouldn't be there, but that could just be me. But yeah, pretty solid there. Nothing really to complain about whatsoever. We'll go ahead and, wow, there's loud cars and stuff outside if you can hear that. So here's the original one, which didn't have any copyright information or anything like that, which is nice. And here is the new one. So very, very similar. Just a little bit darker green on the sticker, I think, as well again, but same key cut and everything between the two Dragon Ranger keys. So there is that one. And then next up we have a key that also got a, I wouldn't say a significant upgrade, but you know, a pretty nice upgrade, and that is Time Fire, which Time Fire was previously a Candy Toy and Gashapon exclusive key. He never got a deluxe key released during Gokaiger, so this is the best quality version of Time Fire that you can possibly get. As you can see, the chest is very nicely shiny and everything compared to the kind of the more matte paint. This is the Candy Toy one specifically, so there's that. And then obviously on the Candy Toy one, you still had to apply that back sticker, and obviously you don't have to do that this time. Oh, and also the leg sticker for Candy Toys. That was a sticker you had to apply as well, and you don't have to do that anymore for these nice metallic or these nice memorial versions, which is very nice. I just love how shiny these keys are too. Now, one thing I would say on mine, I feel like the little arrow is a little lopsided. From like certain angles, it looks a little weird to me, but nothing too bad. And if you can see here on the arm, I feel like the black paint, let's see if the light kind of catches it. I feel like it's kind of like sloppily applied on there. It's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, it's not bad. I'm not really complaining. It's just kind of something I sort of noticed when I saw it. But this is kind of where the biggest difference will be in the stickers. So as you can see here, on the Candy Toy one, you had that Candy Toy copyright down there, and you are no longer going to have that on this very nice, fully deluxe Memorial version, which it does not want to focus. It keeps wanting to focus on the Mobirates, so the GokaiCellular in the background. But I wanted to focus on the key. So there is that. Obviously, all these are going to be the same kind of keys as before in terms of functionality, as their original deluxe Candy Toy, Gashapon, whatever it may be, counterparts. And then finally, we have Operate Killer, which here he is compared to the Operate Killer from the deluxe Ranger Key set. There's also the one from the Candy Toy set that did not have a black trim, just like Hasbro. But as you can see, these keys are very, very similar. They kind of painted the little triangles down there a little closer to the hinge, which I think makes it look a little nicer than the original one. I think this helmet is significantly cleaner. I feel like maybe the red was a little too thick on the first one. As you can see, this also feels like it's a lot more of a cleaner white plastic, I would say. But it's, very minor little differences there, if that's even a difference. But very nice head sculpts and everything like that. And on the back. Now, I can't remember if Operate Killer got the copyright. Okay, he did not. It must have been Operate Yellow, then they had it in the key set. And as you can see here, the nice auto flip feature and very identical Ranger keys for Operate Killer there. So that is all of the old keys old regular keys besides the gold anchor key, which we will compare now with the deluxe version. There's so many other gold anchor keys. If you've seen other episodes of Project Unlock, there's the Candy Toy one, there's a Telebikun one, there's the deluxe one that can become armor. There's so many different versions, but this is the more show accurate design of a key, which is what they obviously based this one off of. So as you can see, this one also got a pretty nice upgrade. The key is a very nice metallic gold now compared to what it was before. Now these on the original one were a rubber, so that way you wouldn't break them off. These are not. So these are definitely not rubber. These are a nice hard plastic now, so just be careful with them because they will snap off if you're too rough with it. So, but then again, it's like a collector item, so I don't think you would be. But that's just one thing that they changed. Another thing that they changed is they covered up all of the screw holes back there and painted all of the missing black detail that was not on the original one, which just makes it really pop and look very, very nice. So out of the 6, I think now, gold anchor keys that I have, this is now my new definitive, very nice one. It was always this one before, but now it's this. And as you can see, it's still raised with the bubbles and everything. It looks very, very nice, and I'm happy that it's here. And then finally, we have the brand new Ranger Key that comes in this set that has no comparisons, the Twokasier Ranger Key, which is now canon, because when this was announced, this was a toy exclusive key, but now it is canon to being on screen in the TTFC Zenkaiger Gokaiger Team Up Special. But wow. So it's an absolutely gorgeous key in every way. It has this beautiful, beautiful metallic gold. Look at all the lines there, and the boots, and even the lines on the gloves. And they have the 35 molded on there, even though you can barely see it. It looks like Gokai Red's helmet. I mean, I cannot wait to show this post of the Zenkaiser key at the end of the video, and also with the other Gokaiger keys, because it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then there is the key mode, which obviously has the Zenkaiger logo. Now this will work in the Mobirates. There is a special Twokaiser sound that we'll take a look at, but we can't show off its full functionality in the GokaiCellular, which is what Flint used it in, until the Squeaker unit comes out. So this key is sort of like a preview for the Squeaker unit, which we will be able to have soon enough. So now that we've compared all the Ranger keys, the next thing is to start going into all the modes that this thing has and showing off all of the sounds, of course. So this, kind of like Mobirates, has multiple different modes, but they're all basically guy-centric modes because, of course, they are. So there are 4 modes that you can swap between by holding down the side button right here. So this button is background music, this one is guy phrase mode, or also just mode change, or whatever you want to call it. So as of right now, in just kind of the default mode. Mode number 1 is transformation mode, which is what we're going to go through right now first to show off the sounds. It's exactly the mode you think it's going to be. It's the one to where when we click any of these, it will give us that team sound and everything like that. Now, just like the original one, there is no key reader in here, so you can click any button that you want. So like Gokai Silver, and there's not even a key in there. It doesn't care. So you do not by any means need to have any of the older Ranger keys or even any of these ones, honestly, to be able to do everything that this toy can do, for the most part, basically. So essentially from here, just like the Mobirates with the like little swooshing sounds, you kind of get that here. So that's kind of a post-transformation kind of swooshing sound. So switching the modes back to the default one. So that's the sound to go back to the first mode, and we'll get into those other modes here shortly. There is still a lot to cover. So before you do any kind of transformation, just like those swishing sounds of like opening the Mobirates or the kind of things you had there, you have that here. So that's supposed to be the sound of you flipping that open, which I didn't time that like anywhere near right, but I wanted to be able to, for you to hear it so you could, you know, focus on that rather than what I was doing. So then you have swishing sounds again. And those are, I'm pretty sure, the exact same ones that were in the original Mobirates one, or the Memorial Mobirates, because I don't see why they wouldn't be. So basically, they've also have changed a couple things here. So for whatever reason, Gosei Knight no longer says Gosei Knight. When you click him, it will say Gokaiger, and when you click Shurikenger, it will no longer say Shurikenger, it will say Hurrikenger. Now, Go on Wings will still say Go on Wings, but I'm pretty sure it is accurate for it to say Gosei Knight and Shurikenger. I'm pretty sure it did that in Gokaiger, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be how it's supposed to be. So, don't know what happened with that, but we will get into that. There is other ways to get these sounds out of here, I believe, but there's, you know, a bunch of different codes and everything like that. I'm still kind of looking through the whole manual. I just know that transformation mode I can pretty much do because, you know, it's exactly what you think it would be. So let's go ahead and start with Gokai Silver, which of course, you know, like I said, it does not matter what key you put in here, but you can put the key in, obviously. It will latch in, which latched in very nicely. I didn't even hear it latch in. And then close it up, click Gokai Silver, and then click the button at the top. So it's a little bit of a longer Gokai Silver transformation than what was in the original GokaiCellular. But what is so nice is that you could barely hear that gear sound. It's pretty much completely non-existent. In the original toy, there's always this really loud gear sound when you click the button. And then even when you brought it back up. But on here, nah, nothing. So you click it again, and it will error out because you didn't click a button before, so that's a new sound. We didn't have that kind of thing before, so we'll hear that again. But look, it's so quiet. You hear like a tiny little bit of a sound there, but it's such a perfectly nicely better mechanism for this, and I don't know how they fixed it, but I'm glad that they did. And they actually made that like a point to talk about how they fixed it, so very happy about that. And now that we've done a Gokai change, actually that resets it, but now that we've done a Gokai change, I will do it again. You can interrupt it too, by the way, I think, with some stuff. I think you can interrupt it with the voice phrase mode, but... So now you have those battle sounds, now that we have actually changed into Gokai Silver, so there is that. Now, of course, I'm sure, you know, everybody wants to hear, and also that nice click there. Like, look how nice and easy it is to get the key out now. Ah, perfect. So it works exactly how I want it to. So... let's make sure. He fell. I knew he was going to fall. I'm moving away from the microphone here. So let's do Dragon Ranger. And nothing changes here. Same kind of sounds. Does not matter. So open that up. Pop the key out. And then we will grab Time Fire. And then finally, we'll do Operate Killer. Now, I technically could do all of the other 6 Rangers. I have them all here, actually. And to prove it to you, here's all the 6 Ranger Keys in a stack. So I do have them all here, the original versions. That's why I got GokaiCellular a couple months ago in Project Unlock to finish it. My finger got in the way. But, like, you get it, though. I don't feel like I need to do every single one of these. You know exactly what it's going to do. It's going to say, you know, die Ranger, oh, Ranger, whatever. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but, like, just to kind of show you some of the special ones. So that still works. This is what I was talking about with these ones. So just to show you on the original toy, which is going to be really quiet now. So it said Gosei Knight, and it said Shurikenger. And look, you hear how obnoxious that gear sound was now? That's so much better. It's just so smooth, it works very, very nicely. And of course, we got one more thing we can do. So we'll real quick go back to GokaiCellular in his base mode. And go gold mode. So they've also drastically increased the sound of that as well. And then we can go ahead and take that out. Actually, let's see if it changes anything. It does not on that front. And then just to show you what I mean, if you take a regular Ranger Key now and put it in the bottom, it doesn't know what it is, it errors out. Now basically what's kind of happening though is that I have been able to kind of trick it. So I don't exactly know what's happening there. It's like basically the gold mode key is like hitting a button early on or something like that a key typically wouldn't hit or something. And I'm sure that the squeaker unit is going to have some kind of special thing. In fact, it might even be just the sound of a regular Ranger Key but then interact with the infrared. But that's pretty much it for the transformation mode. So let's go ahead and show off what modes 2, 3, and 4 do. So after transformation mode, there are 3 other modes for the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. And for that, I consulted the GokaiCellular Memorial Edition user manual. So I kind of tried my best to Google Translate this thing, and I hope that I'm going to be able to do everything that the other 3 modes can do, because there is a hilarious amount of sounds in this toy. There is a ton. I can already tell you that I'm not going to play every single one of them, because we would be here forever, and this video is already going to be about 40-ish minutes long. But if you want to see the full version of this manual, I will be including a PDF version of it in the description below, because if you scan somewhere in here, there's like a QR code that if you scan that there, it will take you to the digital version of this manual, and in the back it gives you a full list, kind of towards more further to the back. It gives you a very nice list of all of the dozens and dozens and dozens of phrases that this toy has. So if that is something that you're interested in, you have that. So in the default mode, which is transformation mode, as we've already taken a look at, that's where you just put the key in, you get the kind of swooshing sounds afterward, kind of the battle sounds, and that's where when you click the helmets, it just gives you exactly what the original toy would do. But of course, being a premium Bandai item and being a Memorial Edition item, there are a ton of phrases in here from GokaiCellular himself, Ikari Gai. Now you don't need Ranger Keys for like any of these modes whatsoever, they kind of just add to it or just kind of fun things. So what we can do with that is with this button down here that switches the modes. And of course this top one here is music, which we will, I guess, kind of get into here. I'm not going to play too much of it, but there are a couple music like choices you can play by clicking the button. So that's the music that plays the first time GokaiCellular transforms, but I'm not going to risk it. And then that's another GokaiCellular like more centric song. And then here it's going to play the full Gojujin theme. And that's as much as we're going to do with that. So, and you hold it, and you get that. Which I really, really do like that that's in here. And it's really nice with the voice phrases too, so like, you know, if we switched it. Then we're going to stop that. So I'm pretty sure it's just those 4 songs that are in here. But it is really cool because that's the one that's going to go like... So that's the version of it you're going to get from me. The, I guess, not copyrighted version, I don't even know. But I have seen some videos of the Memorial Edition Mobirates get copyrighted for the music that's inside of the toy. But Toei, Bandai, really, you put it in here, and I want to show off what it does, so I got to do it a little bit there. So that is as much and hopefully is all I can get away with that. But of course, as you heard a little bit there, I'm not going to redo it, but that guy phrase that you heard there was the transition sound into mode 2, which is known basically as, and I have it written down here on my computer, and it's going to be popping up on screen right now with a fancy graphic. Mode 2 is the dialogue transformation mode. So for that mode, instead of just going straight into the swooshes with this button, you're first going to hear Guy say this. And then the second button, which I don't know how you could possibly do this correctly, like, it's going to be the sound of the door flipping open, which is like that, which, I mean, you can't, I mean, I don't know how you could possibly, you'd have to, like, do this and, like, swing it at the same time, but then, of course, we can go ahead and put in the Gokaicellular key. It does not matter, the voice phrases will continue with or without a key in there. You could put a potato chip in there, it would not care, so let's close that up, and that's the swishing sounds. And you get a little bit of Guy there at the end. And then you just get some of those battle sounds again. Now, I do remember saying something or seeing something on Twitter that I believe that there isn't a necessary roll call Gokaicellular sound in here because Guy's roll call is included in kind of the team roll call in the Memorial Edition Mobirates. So there isn't really necessarily a need for that in here. But I know some people were kind of, you know, a little annoyed that that was the case. But from here, basically, what's going to happen is when you click this button after you've done the initial Gokaicellular transformation, you're going to get one of 19 possible voice phrases from Guy, which most of which are just kind of him talking about using different Sentai teams, using like those, like that team's power or something like that. So I do believe, according to the instruction manual, that they are randomized. So I have no idea if we're going to be able to get all 19 of them here, but let's try our best. And actually, real quick though, before I do it, I did take a picture of the Google Translate. So here is the list of 19 roughly of what they say. So hopefully we get most of these here, but we'll kind of cycle through them. And I kind of try to count to 19, and maybe we will actually, I don't know if we're going to get through all 19 before it like resets or whatever, but they are supposed to be random. So here we go. And you get battles again. Alright, so I'm pretty sure some of those did repeat, and I think that was 19. But as you saw, basically you get one random guy phrase and then you get back to those battle sounds again. So you gotta cycle through the battle sounds and then you can redo a guy phrase. So it definitely is very tedious, and I don't know how you could possibly get the one that you're looking for specifically, but a lot of them are just like slight variations on let's use Time Ranger, let's use Die Ranger, let's use Go-Go 5. So they definitely have a lot of phrases in here for that. And that essentially, as far as I'm aware, is all that you can do with the transformation voice phrase mode. We do have the third mode, which is also going to be popping up on the screen right now with a fancy graphic, and that is this mode here. When I'm going to click this button right now, and you're going to hear the transition first. And now it's up on screen. So we are now in command mode. So this one is very similar to the command mode that was present on the original GokaiCellular, but there's not as many codes, or there kind of is, so it's still gonna work the same, where you could like click, three different, or like three combinations of buttons, and then go say night for the call button to initiate the code phrase. Now on this one, it's a lot more easier to see everything. I mean, it's still in all Japanese there, but that is all of the codes right there. And as you can see, we have one for 001 through 046, and I'm not doing all 46 of them in this video because it would take forever, but I will explain what that mode is. So we're going to go through all of them, and as you can see, a lot of them have, you can do it one way or the other one. So you can do 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1, and it will give you the same thing. And then a lot of them, some of them you have to do them a certain way, and we're going to figure out what they do. So, and of course, there's the exact ones that you know are going to be in here that you saw in the show, like where you click this 3 times and that 3 times and that, and we'll get to there in a minute. But we'll go ahead and start, and I'm going to have this right here so I don't forget any of them with 1, 2, 3. So I do remember that one from the original toy. It's Gokai Silver, nice to meet you. Now we have 4, 5, 6. So that summons the Gokai Spear, 7, 8, 9. So 7, 8, 9 is an alternate way to get to gold mode without using an anchor key. Now we have 500. So that is that kind of confused Gokaiger that you have from the Mobirates. Now we have 194. So that is the anchor mode of the Gokai Spear, which is the one he uses in gold mode. Now we have 555. Let's go Gokaiger. Now we have 777. So we have the gun mode of the Gokai Spear. Now we have 084. So that's wishing you good morning, and I remember that one saying something about like brushing your teeth or something. I do believe that's from the original toy as well. 422. So that is a special mode that lists all the 6, and that's how you get the Gosei Knight and Shurikenja sounds that you could not get anymore with regular transformation. Now I am very curious if there's going to be a special version of the special mode when you add the squeaker unit. I'm very curious if that's going to upgrade that sound later on. Well, we'll find that out in January. We'll be make sure to check that one out. Now we have 666. 999. And now we get to this, I would kind of say like mode within the command mode. So if you if you type in any Sentai team number, Guy is going to give you some information about that team. Which is why we're not going to do all 46, because it's going to take forever. Now what's really cool is I said 46. So while the original version or the Memorial Edition of the Mobirates can read up to Zenkaiger, it was released before the current, at the time of this video, Sentai, Avataro Sentai Dawn Brothers began airing. Now while we are getting Dawn Brothers Ranger Keys in 2023, there are no Dawn Brothers sounds in the Mobirates. However, the GokaiCellular was announced after the premiere of, or actually I think it was actually announced a little bit before the premiere of Dawn Brothers, but it released during Dawn Brothers, so they do have a phrase from Guy in this toy about Dawn Brothers, which is really, really cool, and it kind of makes me wonder if maybe, even though it's not on the tweaker unit, maybe there's an actual sound in here for Don Goku, because he is getting a key in that key set, and I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it would be really cool. Personally not expecting it, but we'll go ahead and show off just a couple of these. So we'll do probably like Go Ranger, Gokaiger, Zenkaiger, and Dawn Brothers just to kind of show them off. So like I said, there are voice phrases in there for all of the Super Sentai teams from Go Ranger through Dawn Brothers, which is really, really cool, but would also take a ridiculous amount of time to play all of them there, so that is something for you to explore in this toy if you get it yourself. But it is really, really cool that they have that feature in here, and that they got him. I mean, I can't even imagine how long he probably sat in that voice booth and probably re-recorded all the older lines and then did all of those ones. But that is really fun, and I think it's really something that adds to the character of this toy, because you had a guy creating the Super Sentai encyclopedias in the show, so it makes sense for a toy like this from him that really celebrates his character in Gokai Silver in general to have something like that, which is really neat. It does remind me a lot of the Encyclopedia mode found in the Legend Mobirates, and it's not the same kind of voice phrases in there. I mean, I don't think it is, at least. So I think that is just a really fun feature that they added. But before we move out to command mode, we have the ones that we actually saw in the show to summon Gojujin, Goju Drill, and Goju Rex. So as you can see also on this page in the manual here, you have voice phrases for after you do it, voice phrases from before you do it, so there's so many things to do here. So we'll go ahead and start with Goju Drill, which by that you just have to click this button one more time, but not hold it. Hold it down is changing the modes. I don't remember if I ever said that, but just click it. So I think that's really cool. You get some sounds of it flying around. So if you like had the toy or something and kind of were like swooshing it around, I think that'd be really fun. Then I believe the next one here, it will swap into now Goju Rex mode. And yes, you're going to get the full transformation of it into Goju Rex. And just like that one, you're going to have some voice phrases and sounds, but only 3 of them for this one.
Goju Rex! Goju
And then a little explosion at the end. And now, of course, the last one here is going to be Gojujin. And some voice phrases for that. And then I think finally, an explosion, of course. So, and it kind of just gets you, oh, more flying sounds, I guess? Oh, just more sounds? Alright. And more explosions. Alright, so I think that finally wraps up the command mode, but we aren't done with this toy yet. There is one more mode to take a look at here, so let's go ahead and hold down the button here. Okay, so this one in the instruction manual, when I Google translated it, I almost said Gokai Translate. When I Google translated it, it says Emo Transformation Mode, but I think it's supposed to kind of be saying like Emotion Transformation Mode or something like that. So this is going to be a set of 27 phrases, which I'm going to bring in here. We have 27 phrases here, and what this is basically doing is this is for special transformations and stuff that Guy did, or phrases and stuff like that. So if you remember the very first GokaiCellular transformation, he does this really long roll call, or where he lists like all the different colors from Super Sentai, and they recreate that in here with this mode. There's also the first time he uses the Go on Wings combined key when he's trying to decide which version to go with. That entire voice conversation's in here basically. And then of course there's also his special transformation into Gokai Christmas from the Christmas episode, and that is also in this toy. So I do believe that I can just do this without a Ranger key. I'm just going to show them all off here. Oh, I knew some keys were gonna fall, but at least it was at the end. So I think I just have to click this button basically 27 times, and we will get through everything in this final mode here. So let's do it. So that's a regular Gokai change, and you know what? We're going to do it because it is going to be a roll call. His original roll call, so we're going to speed through this one more time. And now we have the original transformation, the very first transformation of GokaiCellular. So that's his initial first transformation into GokaiCellular. And now we're in his first transformation into the combined Go on Wings, where he can't decide to use Go on Gold or Go on Silver. Probably should have done the Go on Wings transformation sound before that point, but you know, you get it. So a lot of these last couple ones have been from the Ginga Man tribute episode, where he's not feeling like worthy enough to be Gokai Silver, and he's trying to give the cellular, like, there is something with Bull Black and Hugo or whatever that was resulted in that conversation, and that entire thing is in here. So that is a really cool thing too. Like really pivotal, important guy moments are in here, which is one that I did forget to mention. Besides the first transformation Go on Wings version and the Gokai Christmas one. And now we're on Gokai Christmas mode. And it resets. So I don't believe there's actually any way to get it to say Merry Christmas, I think. At least I'm pretty sure. So that is going to do it here. So as you can see, this toy is very comprehensive. And then to go back to the original default transformation mode, you just hold it one more time. And when you hear that sound, it is doing that. So I think with that, that will finally wrap up the all modes version of this. But before I go, I do want to show off what the keys do in the original versions of the Mobirates, and also kind of show off some special Ranger Key lineups here. So let's get into that part of the video. Okay, so for this part of the video, I have all of the keys from the Memorial Edition GokaiCellular, and I have all three versions of the Mobirates, the original 2011, the Legend 2012, and the Memorial 2021. So I'm not going to show off every single key in all three of these phones, but I will go ahead and show off all of them in the Memorial Edition Mobirates, just because they are Memorial Edition keys. And then of course I definitely want to show off what the Twokasier key does in all three Mobirates, because it's actually pretty cool and probably not exactly what you would expect. So we'll go ahead and start with Dragon Ranger, kind of go chronologically here. So let's go ahead and grab the Memorial Edition Mobirates. Make sure it's on the correct mode. I do believe... Wait, hold on. There, I think that resets it, right? So of course it says Jew Ranger. So I wanted to make sure it was on the right mode because I was kind of fiddling around with this thing earlier. So next we have Time Fire. Abare Killer. Probably working exactly how you'd expect them to. Gokai Silver. So they have kept the sort of confused Gokaiger. It almost sounds like it's like Gokaiger, which was from the original Mobirates, and I think they removed that on the Legend, but they have restored it to the Memorial, which is really cool. Then we have the Galleon Key, or this is not the Galleon Key, the Gold Anchor Key. So the Gold Anchor Key does, I believe, have a different key cut, or... No, it's the same, never mind. It's the same key cut as Gokai Silver, besides like the color side of it, I believe. So that is why that plays the same exact sound, so that should be expected with that. But of course we have Twokasier. So what's really cool about Twokasier is that they did plan for this one in the Memorial Edition Mobirates. So there is a special Twokasier sound, but there's also not like Twokasier specific sounds in the original Mobirates, of course, because Zenkaiger never existed, but there is a sound in there that you might not expect necessarily. But I'll go ahead and close the swords up for this and play Twokasier's unique sound in the Mobirates. there's 2 sounds on that one, which is really cool, and I love that it has the whole yo-ho-hoi sound programmed in there. It's just a lot of fun with that. So that is Twokasier in the Memorial Edition Mobirates, but you might be surprised to see what it has to say in the original 2. So on the original one, it plays that original confused Gokaiger sound that GokaiCellular did. So it sort of kind of recognizes it as a Gokaiger member, which does kind of make sense, and it also really does fit that confused sound because it's like a ripoff of Gokaiger. So that's really cool that it technically has like backwards functionality with the original Mobirates, and then for the Legend Mobirates, it plays that basically the same sound GokaiCellular would have done, because by the time Legend rolled around, they made the Gold Anchor Key and GokaiCellular do a normal Gokaiger sound because he was not a new member anymore. So they still have that in there for Twokasier because obviously they weren't planning for that. They just gave him that. Now you might be wondering, does that mean he has the same key cut? And no, because obviously the Memorial Edition Mobirates knows the difference between GokaiCellular and Twokasier, but just somehow the key cut is close enough to where it actually registers, Twokasier kind of like GokaiCellular in the older toys, which I think factors into the fact that when they made the new Memorial keys, they talked about how they added more pins. So I think they did it in a way to where somehow this key cut can still register as something new in the new one, but something not new in the older ones, which I've had some people ask me, and I don't think I did in my original After Gokai set review, but if you take the After Gokai keys like Zenkaiser, obviously it does Zenkaiger sounds in the original or the new Mobirates, but in the older ones, and in the original one, it also recognizes it as Aba Ranger, so that's not just a weird misread. And I've had some other ones, I think Russo Red said Jacka and stuff like that, so it's very interesting. So basically, to make the new key cuts, they kind of sort of expanded upon older ones or something like that to kind of make it work, but it's very fascinating. But yeah, there's some cool functionality with Twokasier in all 3 of the Mobirates, and then once the Squeaker unit comes out, the GokaiCellular will have it as well. And now that we have Twokasier, we have 2 members of Zenkaiger, so until the Squeaker unit comes out, this is the first team after Ninja that has at least 2 Ranger keys associated with it, actually released in the toy line. These are the only Zenkaiger keys that we know of getting releases so far, but we do know from leaked sounds, the Memorial Edition Mobirates does have special sounds in there for Vroon, Majin, Gowon, and Juron, so hopefully we can get keys of them someday, but at least for now, we have Zenkaiser and Twokasier from the 45th Super Sentai. And then of course we can't wrap up this video without adding Guy to our Memorial Edition Gokaiger Ranger Key set. So these are like the best versions of the Gokaiger Ranger Keys that you could possibly get. Beautiful metallic GokaiCellular. They all have auto flipping features. They just look so nice together. And then of course we can kind of try to move everybody over a little bit. Hopefully they don't all start tumbling over, but we can, if you wanted to, add Twokasier into there as well if he wants to stand. So you can technically have all 7. Oop, there he goes. He's totally falling. Come on, Zox. I thought I caught him there. But you can have all quote-unquote 7 Gokaigers if you wanted to do that, which also looks really nice, because just that GokaiCellular and Twokaiser really pop with their metallic paint, and I really am happy with how Bandai did on the job on these. And finally with that is going to do it for my review / demonstration of the Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger Memorial Edition GokaiCellular. So I cannot recommend this toy enough. I absolutely love this thing so much. I love the keys that you get with it. It makes sense to give you these keys. Twokaiser being a brand new key and a very gorgeous one at that makes this an extremely enticing product to get. It's going to be really cool to have with the Tweaker unit when that releases in January here. There's a lot of really good upgrades from the original version of the toy, which I still do like for what it has, and there's some still fun stuff. There's like that game mode in here where you would say a helmet or say a name and you had to click the helmet. Like that's no longer in here because this is more of a prop kind of thing, more of a kind of well, I guess a prop thing, but more of kind of a celebration thing than like a toy, I guess, if that's a weird way to put it. But I think that both the Memorial Edition Mobirates and GokaiCellular had some incredible upgrades made to them that I think make them definitely the definitive versions of these changers. But I think what's really cool about this entire line in general is that every Gokaiger changer toy has had some kind of unique functionality with Ranger keys or sounds that really do make it worth it to have every version. That's why I have 3 Mobirates and 2 GokaiCellulars, and I don't feel like that was a waste of money. I feel like those are all valid things to have, especially because some of them came out years ago before these ones were even the options. But if you're looking for the definitive version of these toys, the best one to get, it's definitely going to be this one. You have the auto flip features, you have the metallic keys, you have all the sound effects, the better speaker, the improved gear thing and everything like that. And I really, really do like it, and I cannot wait to bring it out again in January when the Tweaker unit releases. So until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Ranger Key or LightningFigPR, and be sure to check out all of my other Memorial Edition Gokaiger videos here on the channel and for all the ones to come. And I will see you all next time.